I have joining me now virtually from Abuja, Comrade Harun Abrahama, the Director of Media and Publicity for United Nations Indigenous Peoples Council. He will be joining me on the show this afternoon. Let's walk through the Nigeria oil and gas sector. Good afternoon, Comrade.
Good afternoon, Chief.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
All right, so let's start the conversation. We've been battling with so much in our oil and gas sector, talking about the incessant and continued increase in the pump price of premium motor spirit, even despite having the Dangote refinery with a capacity of producing 650,000 barrels per day. What is really the problem in the Nigeria upstream, midstream, and downstream sector?
Yeah, before delving into the current debacle as far as the fuel price increment is concerned, I think we should take some background check.
Okay,
Across
give us the background
industry.
check. That's why you are here.
Yeah, in the last 40-something years or thereabout, Nigeria has been an economy that is dependent solely on oil for its foreign earnings, especially after the oil boom of the 70s.
Yeah.
Where the then one of the head of state said the Nigeria problem was not money, but how to manage it.
Okay.
We were not, during the boom, we never actually was able to use the gains from the oil boom to invest sectorally across different sectors so that we start diversification, investing in green energy, cleaner energy, gas exploration, and other sectoral cooperative where the country have cooperative advantage, industrial minerals, solid minerals, gold. Nigeria have up to like 30-something natural resources that are of commercial quantity worldwide, embedded in our soils, but we'll never be able, and we depended on it. And before, Nigeria should also realize that crude oil is a depleting asset. In the last few years, between 2022 and January 2023, our oil reserve have depleted to about 0.46%. Ironically, our gas reserve increased to about 0.10% from 206 trillion cubic feet to 208 trillion cubic feet. And we are not investing more in the gas that's still chasing the oil and sustaining the economy over the years with structural adjustment program of 1986. Oil has become more of a devil than an angel to the Nigeria economy. It's the highest source of revenue, yet it does not contribute to more meaningfully to our GDP. Agriculture and other sectoral allocations still contribute up to 70, 75 to 80% to our GDP. But for foreign earnings, we need the oil, and we need it to drive the importation. It has made us to become import-dependent economy. And by so doing, over the years, we forget to build to sustain the refineries that were in existence. They were not built. Corruption entered. NNPC become a conduit pipe, become a warehouse of all sorts of corruption. And 1999, in the birth of the Fourth Republic, between 1999 and 2003, to be precise, 2003 or 2005, we brought about the liberalization of the downstream sector, where the Obasanjo and the articles of this world came up with the liberalization policies of the Nigeria economy. What does that mean naturally? It means that every economic decision of Nigeria will be handed in the hands, mainly structurally in the hands of private players. That was where the beginning of nosediving started, where the subsidy issue, because in the Abacha time, we were still able to regulate a whole lot of things, and we were still working well and doing things normally to some reasonable extent. But with the liberalization, a lot of players who are corrupt enter the system. We begin to see the refineries, the existing refineries, as opportunities. We turn around maintenance every year, be released to them. They never worked, and we privatize and release licenses to private individuals to be bringing fuels and petrols to Nigeria at a corrupt subsidy regime, to the extent that in 2012, we're already running about 3.6 trillion in subsidy fraud which led to the Ahmed Lawan report that never saw the light of the day, that actually prevented, that led to a strike that prevented the government from removing subsidy, because we are already using almost 3.6 trillion of our national budget to fund subsidy that was not in existence. As harsh as the reality may be today, that we are paying more for fuel, but look at the consumption. From 67 million, they formally told us that we were consuming. They told us that we were consuming 67 million liters of fuel daily in Nigeria. But today, as we speak, with the removal of subsidy and with the advent of the Dangote refinery trying to, though it's having its own hiccup here and there, we can now see the last report data shows that in the last 1 month, we have consumed 4.5 million liters. You can imagine how much was being wasted on subsidy into the pocket of criminals. And to the extent that in the 2023 budget of the last administration, we were using about 8 trillion or 9, between 8 and 9 trillion out of 13 trillion budget or 11 trillion budget, we are using 8 to 9 trillion to finance subsidy alone. We are even borrowing using 97%. Our debt to GDP was now 97%. That means to service foreign debts, we are now using 97% of our earnings to pay debt and to service debt. Which one is now remaining for recurrent expenditure and to drive capital consigns? All this put together, there was no way we would have sustained the economy. Oil is no longer, it's now a cost on the Nigerian economy. Hence, there was need for the subsidy to just go. So the oil sector in Nigeria from 2003 with the liberalization policy has not been of good to us. It's been embedded with fraud, criminality, and corruption.
Okay, comrade, you made mention at your opening that it seemed like the oil or the crude in itself is more like a devil to us rather than being an angel. Are we now saying that the natural resources we're blessed with, the problem is the managers, or it is the resources itself that is the problem?
In a regulated economy, for example, we have the NNPC in Nigeria.
We will go to NNPC later, but let's start from somewhere. So what we get to NNPC?
Leadership question. Leadership question. No sincerity, no purpose. Every economy policy they draft, they draft it well. Nigeria is so good in policy drafting, but implementation is always the problem, because people there's no sincerity, no purpose in implementation. They embed the whole policy with the implementation process is embedded with selfishness, greed, and corruption. That is what has made oil, crude oil. Other countries that produce crude oil, Saudi Arabia, China, Russia, we have the Petrobras, Brazil. They are all doing well. Why are they doing well? They never privatized. They did not drive liberalization. Rather, they elevated the regulatory platform to a commercial status, commercialization. Why is nobody talking about commercialization as an economic policy in Nigeria?
So, comrade, you were actually driving towards somewhere before we went on the break. So I want you to continue with your conversation.
Yeah, I was talking about the lack of or absence of transparent leadership in the management of our resources generally, and in particular the Nigerian oil and gas sector. There has not been transparency to a reasonable extent. If you read the NAT report, Nigeria Extractive Industry and Transparency International Report, Initiative Report, you get to find out that over time the activities of the major stakeholder in the regulation of our oil and gas, which is the NNPC, have been shredded in all sorts of malpractices and without accountability to a reasonable extent. Accountability in the sense that the tenets, the rules and regulation that guides the way of providing financial accounting for some of the activities of this a very, very big and relevant agency is not there. And we don't really know what is going on. How can more than 43 years of regulating the oil and gas sector, we are still signing JVs, joint ventures agreement. There are no OML today that is being operated
without a joint venture.
Without a joint venture,
Absolutely
Nigeria does not own anyone. You know, so there's no viability over the years. What have we been doing? A few years ago, we were thanking our stars that, okay, we have the PR, the Petroleum Industry
PIA
Act, as
2021.
amended. Yeah. Exactly. They're not like trying to create give a commercial status to the NNPC. We now call it NNPCL, you know. Okay, from there till now, what is the roadmap? Where are they driving to? What is the vision? Where do they want to be? Beyond meddling themselves in the activities of what the PMS should cost and what it should not cost.
Absolutely.
In one sweep, you are telling us that the determinant of fuel after the full deregulation is going to be market forces, demand and supply. In another sweep, you are coming to say that you're going to be the major
They want to
buyer.
determine. Comrade, go ahead. I can hear you. Okay. I think we have to go. Okay. Go ahead, comrade.
Still be selling to. Yeah, you still want to be the one to be selling to the major marketers. You are creating. You're trying to eradicate monopoly, and you are trying to be the sole bridge now between the producer and the seller of the same product. These are not the responsibilities, the core responsibility of the NNPC. As far as if we want to actually follow the provisions of the PR of 2021, what is our status with these JVs? Today, NNPC cannot vividly and openly tell Nigeria that this is the amount of crude oil that is drilled and exported on behalf of Nigeria daily by these multinational oil companies operating in Nigeria. The international oil corporations in Nigeria, they've capitalized over time on all this. We don't have to pay them. We sign JVs with them. They bring their equipment, bring their manpower, bring their forces and technical know-how to come and drill oil and tell us what. We just give them a percentage. All we need is so percentage. You use the other one to pay yourself. At the end of the day, can they really tell us what the percentage is being used to settle the oil company, the IOCs that are operating in the Niger Delta and other areas of Nigeria? Have they been able to actually tell us? Today they're telling us that 1.8 million barrels a day. Next week they say we are driving at 1.6. They'll blame. We don't have an example. So for 40-something years, almost 50 years after, the oil and gas industry is enmeshed in wanton and unpardonable level of corruption. Okay. And it's rather unfortunate.
All right.
And at the end of the day, the poor masses suffer in the name of PMS. Okay. In the name of, because we now rely on the fuel. Yeah. It becomes the fuel is now the drivers, because other infrastructure that are supposed to regulate the economic activities, they are in limbo.
Yeah, that's true. So
the rails are not effective.
So
the diesel is not readily available. Alternative sources of energy is not there.
Yeah.
There's no constant electricity to boost industries. So you now rely on generators. You rely on fuel to move goods from one part of the economy to the other. We are just in an economic comatose.
Okay, comrade, let's look at the NNPCL in itself. Is NNPCL the problem we're having in our oil and gas sector as at today? Because this was an agency that was formerly Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation before it was unbundled to become Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, where you have so many subsidiaries that are working with the NNPCL. Could we now say, because you made mention of corruption, could we now say that the NNPCL is, I don't want to use the word headquarters. Could we say there are so much corruption happening inside the NNPCL? Before we drift a little bit to the saga between the NNPCL, Ipman, and Dangote Refinery.
Yeah, the leadership, from the leadership to every subsector within the NNPC, they have subsidiary, the PPMC,
the PPPRO, NUPROC,
the Petroleum Pricing Marketing Agency, all of them, one way or the other, they've compromised the economic prosperity of Nigeria for their selfish interests.
Okay.
There's no transparency in their dealings. There's no sense of patriotism. Every of their economic decision has never been for the good of Nigerians. When I say Nigeria is not limited to government. If government cannot be fed by the regular citizens, that means there's a problem with that government.
That's true.
You understand?
Yeah.
Your decision as a body NNPC is supposed to be. NNPC belongs to Nigeria, not to the federal government of Muhammadu Buhari, federal government of Obasanjo, federal government of Tinubu.
That's true.
It belongs to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Their decisions should reflect on the yearnings and needs of Nigeria. But unfortunately, over the years, even with the Unpublic turning into company, why did they turn into company? We agitated for the PR so that the NNPC will have a sense of belonging, that it has the power to drive commercial activities, to achieve commercial status, to be self-reliant beyond just being a supervisor on how much oil is drilled and sold on behalf of Nigeria, which is credited to the treasurer at the CBN. If you even do reconciliation between the CBN and NNPC today, you will share grace. If we decide to appoint an investigative audit, do an investigative audit to reconcile the activities of NNPC and CBN, to know if what is remitted, what is this, what is that. At a point, the NNPC, on behalf of federal government, spend money from source. So elevating it to the NNPCL, we felt that as a company, they will have a board of directors. They will drive independent investment to make the organization more viable, more commercial driven, that they will now be making money beyond supervision of the revenue of from oil on behalf of Nigeria. But over time now, in the last 3 years, all they are interested in is the Dangote's refinery, the collaborative, directly and indirectly, allegedly anyway, collaborating with some economic scavengers to build refineries in Malta and foreign countries, to be importing the same PMS to Nigeria so that they will be claiming subsidy. This is what I've seen. There should be a roadmap of what does the NNPC want to achieve. Okay. We've had the Port Harcourt refineries, the Warri refineries, the Kaduna refineries. They've told us time without number, from one deadline to another, that these refineries are going to work. If these refineries are actually working, then NNPC will be achieving its commercial core objective of selling, producing the raw material, which is the crude by themselves, refining it by themselves, and selling. A lot of charges that are embedded that result to the PMS price will be eliminated, like the freight charges, the custom duties. These are all part of the pricing system of the fuel. All these things will be eliminated, and the price of this fuel will come down.
Okay.
But unfortunately, nobody's talking. They are shifting goalposts at every deadline. They will shift to the next one. Carry has become an agent of deadline shifting instead of running the oil sector transparently. And it's unfortunate, to say the least.
Now, the question a lot of persons have been asking, Mele Kyari, has he not overstayed his welcome as the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPCL, knowing that the NNPCL has control over 4 refineries, Port Harcourt 1 and 2, Warri and Kaduna? They are not working. They keep giving us deadline on a monthly and a yearly basis. The last deadline expired in October. We're already in November. Nothing has happened. Can't something be done to carry, or the entire NNPCL should be overhauled for us to know where we are standing? Because it seems like every day we keep hearing stories from NNPCL. They will fix the refinery today, they will fix it tomorrow. As if that is not enough, they are now eyeing a private refinery, wanting to fix prices for the private refinery that Dangote have to sell to them first before they will now sell to independent marketers. What really should be done to the state-owned oil company, which is the NNPCL?
Yeah, it's like the issue of a tick. Yeah. NNPC and Kyari right now is like a tick that is hooked on the scrotum of a man.
Okay.
You have to be very careful with such to remove it.
Yeah.
If not, you damage your scrotum.
That's true.
The scrotum here is the life wire of the Nigerian economy. Kyari case is synonymous with the confusion that eroded the Buhari administration with the CBN, the then CBN governor, Emefiele, when he came to power in 2015. And Emefiele was the CBN governor under whose office a lot of monies were released. A lot of these were illegally done. And there was no need for him to sack him immediately, but to keep him, to help him clear the urges from the urges table. Unfortunately, he stayed with Buhari one way or the other, and he also messed the monetary designs of that administration up, as far as I'm concerned. So I pray that Kyari does not turn out to be like that, because in any management setting, they said a vision without a mission is an illusion. It's a tantalizing mirage. It's obvious that the mission statements of NNPC today cannot drive the vision of what NNPC ought to be, or where NNPC ought to be. And the driver of that mission that is not in existence, or whose implementation is below par so far, is scary. Naturally, if Nigeria has a morality, it's a morality question. Kyari should even resign by himself. He has promised beyond even the refinery. What is the investment of NNPC in the downstream sector, the NNPCL? We are lacking infrastructure to drive the oil and gas sector. Hence, we are relying on IOCs who are cheating us, who are not transparent with us, because we've not been able to provide those things. As we speak, there is no pipeline design that take crude. If you want the oil price of Dangote to come down, Dangote is spending money to get the very large vessels batches that bring crude from the Niger Delta to Lekki refinery for him. Where is the investment of NNPC? We have the PPMC, the pipeline,
petroleum pipeline regulatory, whatever.
Yes, yeah. I challenge them. They should tell Nigerians how many pipelines they've laid. Where is the pipeline? There's no infrastructure that brings this crude oil to Dangote refinery. By the time, if you do that, you are eliminating more than 60% of the cost the cost of taking this crude oil. But today, Dangote have to rely on very large batches vessels to bring crude oil for the Niger Delta, which is more costly when you compare to pipeline, pumping the crude oil through the pipeline. And that's supposed to be where the NNP is supposed to concentrate on, driving the infrastructural needs. That's what we are saying. When you privatize, you don't leave it all. Your own is to provide the infrastructure for the country, the economy to grow, for the private players to thrive. But a situation whereby the private investor is the one providing the infrastructure need, he's going to embed, he's going to add everything to the incremental cost, every variable cost of producing a liter of PMS. That will consider every cost into it to sell it. NNPC has failed in that aspect, and to be very frank, the entire management of NNPC, especially at the top level, supposed to have been removed and replaced.
Exactly.
There is serious sanity that is needed to be taken or to be going on in the NNPC.
In the NNPC, okay.
Yeah, well, but like I said, I believe there's something that's keeping Kyari there, because there are a lot of like the African Exim Bank through the deal arrangement.
With the African Exim Bank.
There are a lot of deals that have come over the last 1 year. That really, because now we are talking of we are supposed to be in the Venezuela state of economy, if not for some of those deals that came through to clear the backlog of forests, about 15 billion that was backlog of forests that we could not meet up with on 90 days calls with the CBN. It came through with all those deals. Maybe those are the things that the presidency is still considering to keep him, to see to the realization of those deals and fulfilling, because those were people paying for crude in advance.
Yeah.
And they spread over some period of time, and beyond that, I don't see any reason why Kyari should still remain. That is just the truth.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's look at a very important part. Now, the last time we ever had a Minister of Petroleum Resources was during the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Buhari came on board for a good 8 years. He was the President and the Minister of Petroleum Resources. So automatically that means he was earning salary as the president and as a minister. Not in any other ministry, but the petroleum ministry, because of how germane or how important the ministry is. Now, President Bola Tinubu has spent more than a year. We are still seeing the same thing in that same ministry, having the president and as the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and also the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Do you think this is the right step in the right direction? Don't you think that ministry needs someone who can focus? When I say focus, I mean focus. During Jonathan's time, we have Dizani Madueke, despite the whole saga that happened during Dizani's administration.
That is the question.
First of all, the
president does not earn salary.
Yes,
does not earn double salary. As a Minister of Petroleum. And secondly, over the time, we had the likes of Rewan and Lukman.
Yeah, Rewan and Lukman as the GMD. Then.
No, as a Minister of
Petroleum. Minister of
Petroleum
Resources, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we had Alice Madeke of this world. This tenure, this ministerial tenure brought about a whole lot that is still affecting us today.
Okay.
Where there were monumental corruption. So, and the presidencies that came up since 2015 felt, okay, we can have a minister of state while we become the supervisor.
But the minister of state is a junior. Everybody sees a minister of state as a junior minister. More like a spare tire.
No, not necessarily a spare tire.
Okay.
He does everything, but with the supervision of the president.
All right.
Report it directly to the president and get it there are some critical approvals that the president need to make.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah. And there are other some critical areas, like what the deals that carry is evolving right now. Some of those deals are known by they are in the knowledge of the president. You understand?
Okay.
These were deals that were hitherto be done by Alice Madueke, collecting kick front and kickback, cutting corners into it, and we are losing a whole lot of money. So I feel those were the excuses. These are the germane, because the oil and gas industry is unfortunate. The gas aspect, we are not even talking about.
No, we're not talking about gas now. We're just looking at,
if the oil is like this, the gas is non-existent.
Absolutely.
Because we've not been able to tap even 10% of the gas potentials.
Yeah.
A country with 208 trillion cubic feet of gas in reserve, 208 trillion, and it's increasing at 0.10% annually, year in, year out. I'm talking of as of January 2023. I'm not talking of even 2024. We are still talking of, meanwhile, our oil reserve is depleting since that time at 0.46%. But we are emphasizing on the oil, while the world is already going beyond oil, going into cleaner energy, utilizing the benefit, the huge benefit of gas. So I believe if the government, the Minister of Petroleum, and the entire oil and gas industry, they need to wake up to really rejig the system of oil sector management in Nigeria. We need to shift attention to renewable energy, especially in the gas sector. We have gas flaring here and there. We've not been able to cope gas flaring even up to 15%.
Absolutely.
Every day, you imagine the gas that is flaring in the Niger Delta that can be converted. These are energy being wasted away that can be converted even to electricity for our domestic cooking gas.
Yeah.
We've signed an agreement with under the KKK gas line leading to Morocco and outside Nigeria. What is the position of all that? Is this still on? These are the things we're supposed to, Kerry and Co. and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, supposed to be dwelling on now, not about the prices of fuel, what NNPC is selling, and how you are going to be doing a Kiosa market arrangement with NNPC. It's crazy.
It's a Kiosa market arrangement.
Yes, anytime I reason that. NNPC is now involved in trading.
Trading with a private-owned refinery. Meanwhile, they have 4.
You have 4 refineries that are in limbo.
Redundant.
Almost 20 years now, up to something years, these refineries have not worked. They've not refined a product. If they are refining, we don't know. And they keep the worst part of it is they keep doing turnaround maintenance on them every year. Since 1999, we have spent more than $200 billion
on turnaround maintenance
since 1999. Yes, which is enough to build how many refineries? How much did Dangote build this refinery? $20 billion.
$20 billion, yeah. So if we had calculated everything we've been spending since 1999 to date, it would have built more refineries for us.
We would have replaced, just let them to be in obsolete.
Absolutely.
And build new ones.
So
nobody is thinking beyond what they will get into their pockets.
Yeah. Now, comrade, before we wrap up, because we're pressed for time, let's look at the way forward. What should really be done by this present administration? Because the truth is, petroleum drives everyday activity. I tell people, I said, even if a child inside the mother's belly make use of PMS, whether you like it or not. Some persons can tell you they don't want to use gas. It's a choice. You can say you don't want to use what is it called? Diesel. It's a choice. I can't remember the last time I even heard of kerosene. It's a choice. But you see, PMS, petrol, is something every Nigerian make use of on a daily basis. What should really be the way forward? Because I foresee another increment before the end of this month we just entered, and I foresee more increment before December 25th, which is Christmas. So what is the way forward?
I think, meanwhile, the information reaching us yesterday says that the diesel price was coming down from 1,600 to 1,000 naira. You know, these are the beauty of a deregulated economy. Just that we don't have the sincerity to drive it. The way forward is every stakeholder in the industry, from IPMA, NNPC, Dangote, the government, they should come out clean and tell Nigeria what is the unit cost of production of fuel in Nigeria. That's the beginning of the way forward. Because in my calculation, if you remove all the foreign, the freight charges, the custom duties, the spiritual and the invisible charges they embedded into it.
You're not making it look like a church.
No, of course, it's more spiritual than is it physical. Do you know what they are? Till now, Dangote keep releasing press statement, but he has never talked about the price aspect. He has never been on his own. It's not transparent with Nigerians now, who are his customers. We are his biggest customers.
That's true.
He told us yesterday that he's having 400 million liters of fuel. Nobody is dying.
That can last for 12 more days.
What is the unit cost of this fuel, so that we know who to hold responsible? They should come clean with all of us. IPMA was on air yesterday, crying that they paid money they've not received.
Yes, I saw their chairman or president on one of our sister stations yesterday.
Dangote came out this morning to issue a statement through changing at the head of the brand,
the head of branding and communications,
branding of communication of Dangote, saying that IPMA did not pay to them directly. He paid to NNPC.
Through NNPC.
Remember, just last month, NNPC came out that their hand is not involved in Dangote again.
So they said.
So who is deceiving who?
Exactly.
Because initially, at the initial stage, Dangote got incentive from the government.
By selling crude to him in naira, not in dollars.
By getting in naira. And for every ship, for every vessel of crude that is given to Dangote, for every barrel of crude, he's saving $3.
That's true.
And as at last month, they've given him he has received 20. They've allocated 35. He rejected two vessels, and he has received 29 vessels. So you can imagine how many, from my calculation, the government incentive is already running into almost $3 billion. But you turn around, according to the IPMA allegation, to now tell the same IPMA that you are going to be selling the fuel to them in dollars. So you now want the IPMA to be rushing to bank, looking for dollar, putting pressure on the scarce forex.
That's true.
The next thing you will now be hearing that foreign exchange is now 1,800, 2,000 naira to $1.
Exactly, and that is where it is going.
Because the foreign exchange on its own is already liberalized. We're not driving a unified foreign exchange regime. Where what you get in the black market is what you get in the bank. And by the time the market forces go there, too much demand you put pressure on the dollar, on the naira, because there will be too much demand by the IPMA to get dollar to go and buy Dangote fuel. Then the dollar will high. By the time the dollar high, now as you buy, you go take sell.
The price will still go up.
Exactly. So by the time they now buy at that's what they are not saying that they prefer that the federal government should give them loan. To just imagine how the sea finish where these people see Nigeria finish. The same people who said they should drive privatization, market forces, they can run everything. Government should remove hand in government. They are not turning around, telling government to give them a grant of 100 billion to go and be importing fuel from abroad. That they prefer is more cost benefit to them to import the fuel than to buy for Dangote. So you want government to see finance your private establishment. Atiku and Obasanjo caused all this problem by driving liberalization of Nigeria economy between 2003 and 2007. Creating National Council of Privatization, selling off Nigerian assets. More than 400 companies, public corporations and Nigerian assets were sold off. And that is where, because there's no regulation. You can't say all this. You are just a twisting government. Dangote visited Tinubu 3 days ago. He's looking for protectionism. You are looking for protectionism. In a liberalized economy, you want your business to be protected. Meanwhile, Obaseki suffered to bring investors to come and build the
modular refinery
in Ologbo. The Nigeria Content Development Board, the partnership with Dupont Engineering, build another one in Oriom local government. We have 2 refineries in Benin here. They don't have concession. Of course. Have they been giving crude oil in Naira? Have they been prioritized? Boa Cement is building another refinery in Akwa Ibom.
Okay.
All these ones, but Dangote want to be protected by all means.
Comrade.
Until everybody, the way forward is both the presidency, NNPC, Dangote, they should fear God and come out clean with Nigerians.
Okay. Comrade, thank you very much for your time. This is a conversation we will always continue to look into because, like I said, the driving force of our economy is petrol. Take it or leave it. Petrol drives our economy. And for you to get petrol, it is through crude. And when these whole shenanigans are happening, NNPCL not being truthful, federal government not being truthful, Dangote refinery not being truthful, even Ipman not being truthful, then there's a problem. I really want to thank you and appreciate you for your time on the show this afternoon. With time, we always go into conversations like this to want to unravel, to know, because Nigerians really need to know what is happening in the petroleum sector. I really appreciate your time this afternoon on the show. Thank you very much, comrade.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Have a wonderful weekend.
And you too. All right, that's how far we can go on the show this afternoon. We've talked a whole lot. We've looked into so much. Like I said, we really need to know what is happening in the upstream, midstream, and downstream sector of the Nigeria petroleum sector. It's supposed to be a blessing to us, but it seems like the way it's going is the other way around, which I don't want to mention. I don't believe something like that exists. But let's maximize the blessing of crude and oil that we have in Nigeria for prosperity of the nation. That's how far we can go on the show this afternoon. On behalf of my entire team, we appreciate you for your time from start to finish. I'll see you again on the other one. I am Lawrence Osifo saying bye for now.